Welcome to the Daily Globe. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon for more breaking updates. The tectonic plates of global power are shifting, and the world is entering an era of profound transformation. For decades, the global order seemed unshakable, with a handful of nations setting the rules and the rest following suit. But now, the very foundations of that order are being tested as never before. The tremors of change are being felt from the financial heart of New York to the bustling cities of the Middle East. In boardrooms and government offices, leaders are grappling with a new reality, one where old alliances are being questioned and new partnerships are rapidly forming. For generations, oil has been the lifeblood of the modern economy, powering industries, transportation, and entire nations. The US dollar, long the undisputed king of global finance, has been the currency of choice for these vital energy transactions. This arrangement not only fueled American prosperity but also cemented its influence over the world's economic system. But today, November 17, 2025 marks a turning point. Headlines around the globe are flashing with news of a seismic shift, one that could redefine the balance of power for decades to come. The world is watching as the established order faces its most significant challenge in living memory. The expanded BRICS alliance, now welcoming energy giants like Saudi Arabia and Iran into its fold, is taking bold steps to reshape the global energy market. These nations, once firmly tied to the dollar, are now forging new paths, working together to create an alternative system that could rival, or even surpass, the old one. Major oil exporters are openly embracing the Chinese yuan for energy transactions, a move that would have been unthinkable just a few years ago. This isn't just about currency, it's about power, influence, and the desire for a more balanced, multipolar world. The shift signals a deliberate effort to reduce dependence on the dollar and to give emerging economies a greater voice on the world stage. The implications are monumental. As the dollar's dominance erodes, the lines of global influence are being redrawn. Financial markets are reacting, governments are recalibrating their strategies, and ordinary people everywhere are beginning to sense the magnitude of what's unfolding. This story is about ambition, rivalry, and the complex dance of nations as a new world order takes shape. It's a tale of shifting alliances, bold decisions, and the relentless pursuit of power in a rapidly changing world. The future is uncertain, but one thing is clear: the age of unquestioned dominance is over, and a new chapter in global history is just beginning. To grasp today's upheaval, we must understand the system being challenged. The petrodollar system began in the 1970s, when the US struck a deal with Saudi Arabia, military support in exchange for oil sales exclusively in dollars. This forced countries worldwide to hold vast dollar reserves, fueling US economic power and global influence. The system simplified global trade and gave Washington a powerful tool: the ability to weaponize the dollar through sanctions. But this dominance bred resentment and a desire for alternatives. Nations targeted by sanctions have quietly laid the groundwork for a post-dollar system. The increasing use of the dollar as a political weapon has eroded trust. Now, the bedrock of the empire is showing deep cracks. BRICS began as a simple investment acronym, coined by economists to describe the rising economic potential of Brazil, Russia, India, and China. At first, it was just a catchy way to group together some of the world's most promising emerging markets, nations with fast-growing economies and huge populations. But what started as a financial shorthand quickly evolved into something much more significant. Over the past 2 decades, BRICS has transformed from a mere concept into a formal coalition, one that now stands as a direct challenge to the Western-dominated global order. The group's annual summits and coordinated policies have given it real political and economic weight on the world stage. In 2024, BRICS took a bold step by expanding its membership to include Egypt, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. This expansion didn't just add new voices to the table, it fundamentally altered the group's global influence, especially in the energy sector. With these new members, BRICS now commands nearly half of the world's oil production, making it a dominant force in global energy markets. This shift has major implications for how energy is traded and who sets the rules. The bloc also controls about 2/3 of all proven natural gas reserves, giving it unprecedented leverage over a resource that powers industries and heats homes across continents. One of the most ambitious projects is the Power of Siberia 2 pipeline, which will soon connect Russia's vast gas fields directly to China's booming economy. This pipeline is more than just infrastructure, it's a symbol of deepening Eurasian energy ties that operate independently of Western influence. With both the world's top energy producers and its largest consumers now inside BRICS, the traditional logic of trading oil and gas exclusively in US dollars is rapidly losing ground. More and more, these countries are exploring alternatives, from local currencies to new digital payment systems. This new alliance has the collective power to challenge, and potentially dismantle, the decades-old petrodollar system that has underpinned global finance since the 1970s. BRICS is no longer just a symbol of shifting power balances, it has become the engine driving a new era of economic and geopolitical change, shaping the future of trade, energy, and diplomacy. As new alliances form and old ones are redefined, the global economic and political map is being redrawn before our eyes, ushering in a world where power is more widely distributed, and the rules of the game are being rewritten. Dedollarization is no longer a distant or abstract concept, it's unfolding right before our eyes, reshaping the global financial landscape in real time. For decades, the US dollar has been the undisputed king of international trade and energy markets, but that dominance is now being directly challenged. At the forefront of this seismic shift is the Chinese yuan, which is rapidly gaining traction as a preferred currency for cross-border transactions, especially in the energy sector. Yuan-denominated oil deals have surged in recent years, with more and more countries opting to bypass the dollar entirely when settling their energy trades. This trend is reshaping the way global trade is conducted, as the yuan now accounts for a growing share of international settlements and is being used in transactions that were once exclusively dollar-based. The Shanghai International Energy Exchange has emerged as a major hub for trading oil contracts denominated in yuan, attracting both regional and international players eager to diversify away from the dollar. By offering a credible and increasingly liquid alternative to the dollar, the yuan is now seen as a viable option for countries seeking to reduce their exposure to US financial influence. Perhaps most striking is the shift in Saudi Arabia, long considered the linchpin of the petrodollar system and a steadfast ally of the US in global energy markets. Today, Saudi Arabia is not only settling a significant portion of its oil sales to China in yuan, but is also actively reviewing its long-standing dollar contracts, signaling a potential realignment in global energy alliances. The BRICS Energy Alliance has taken this movement a step further by launching petro-yuan contracts, encouraging member states to conduct energy trade in their own currencies, and further eroding the dollar's dominance. This has created a closed-loop system that minimizes reliance on the dollar, especially among countries facing Western sanctions. Russia, for example, now conducts the majority of its energy trade with China in yuan, forging a powerful economic partnership that sidesteps the traditional dollar-based system. Meanwhile, Russia and India have established ruble-rupee swap agreements, allowing them to settle energy and commodity trades directly, further weakening the dollar's grip on global commerce. Even Egypt, a key player in the Middle East, is joining this wave of change, signing agreements to facilitate yuan-based transactions and issuing panda bonds to attract Chinese investment, further integrating itself into the emerging yuan-centric financial system. The rise of the petro-yuan is not just a financial story, it's a fundamental shift in the architecture of global trade, as the world's economic powers weave new connections and challenge the supremacy of the US dollar. The US has responded forcefully to the challenge, with President Trump imposing a 10% tariff on all BRICS imports. He's threatened even higher tariffs if BRICS pursues a unified currency, risking a full-scale economic war. This aggressive stance is meant to force countries to choose sides, but it may only accelerate de-dollarization. The US has also threatened tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and Chinese goods, escalating global trade tensions. BRICS nations see these moves as proof of the need for financial independence and are fast-tracking alternative systems. The stage is set for a protracted economic conflict between an established power and a rising bloc. Moving away from the dollar requires building a new global financial infrastructure. BRICS is expanding bilateral currency swaps. China and Saudi Arabia trade in yuan real, Russia and India in ruble rupee. China's CIPS payment system and Union Pay are growing as alternatives to SWIFT, challenging US oversight. The new development bank is increasing loans in local currencies, reducing reliance on the dollar. The ultimate goal, a common BRICS currency, possibly backed by commodities. For now, the focus is on a multi-currency system where trade flows in yuan, rubles, rupees, and reals. Each new swap and transaction is another brick in a new financial fortress. The move away from the petrodollar has real consequences for countries worldwide. For the US, declining dollar demand could raise borrowing costs and constrain global power. BRICS nations gain economic sovereignty, reducing vulnerability to US policy and sanctions. Energy importers, like China and India, benefit from lower transaction costs. Exporters like Saudi Arabia and Russia access new markets. Developing nations outside BRICS watch with hope and anxiety, more options, but also more volatility. US allies in Europe and Asia face a dilemma: stay with the dollar or adapt to the new order. They're hedging their bets, seeking stability in a shifting landscape. The world's economic fortunes are in flux. Experts are divided. Some say US tariffs are accelerating dedollarization. Others argue the dollar's dominance is far from over. The dollar still accounts for the majority of global reserves, and no single currency is ready to replace it. BRICS faces hurdles: China's capital controls, India-China rivalry, and the complexity of a new reserve currency. The most likely outcome? A multipolar world where the dollar, Yuan, and others coexist. Trade will fragment into regional blocs, reflecting new power dynamics. The greatest risk is a disorderly transition. An economic war could trigger global instability. The opportunity lies in managing this shift cooperatively, building a more resilient system. The rise of the petro-yuan and the BRICS challenge to the dollar will shape the world for decades. The financial system that affects everything from gas prices to mortgages is being re-engineered. This is a present-day transformation with direct consequences for your financial well-being. The era of a single economic superpower is ending. A world of competing currencies and ideologies is emerging. Navigating this new era requires awareness and adaptability from everyone. The old stability can't be taken for granted. Volatility and change are the new normal. Staying informed is essential as the new world order takes shape.